It's a major victory for some and a troubling defeat for others.
Health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
Now that the Supreme Court has spoken, there clearly would be opportunities to possibly do more.
In a 6-3 split, justices on the high court sided with a Mississippi law that bans almost all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The justices also striking down the half-century-old Roe v. Wade ruling in a 5-4 split, removing constitutional protections on abortion rights. Today's decision, as you can see here, met with outrage, but also celebration across the country. Here you see several demonstrations nationwide with anti-abortion and abortion rights advocates taking their opinions to the streets. And you know, the Queen City was no exception. Those on both sides of the debate were outside the government center to demonstrate. Our Brianna Harper was there as well and shares their messages tonight.
The crowd that gathered here in Uptown in opposition to the Supreme Court's decision included men, women, different races, and different generations. But they all shared a mission to uphold abortion rights because they believe the freedom of choice is what's most important. This crowd is fired up, charged with a range of emotions.
Exhaustion, fear, grief, heartbreak.
All the result of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the constitutional ban on abortions. Now it'll be up to each individual state to make that call. But before that happens, people say they want their voices heard.
It just feels such an attack on us personally. It feels like you don't have a choice.
Abortion rights is the stance for nearly everyone in this crowd, but there are others who are anti-abortion. And for the founder of Not Forgotten Ministries, the Supreme Court's decision is a win.
I'm just thankful, that lives will be saved from this ruling, but also as a person who's had an abortion and has experienced the shame and guilt and just a lifetime of regret. I'm really looking forward to just there being a lot of women saved from this.
But this action is just the start of what's to come. Many now looking ahead to upcoming state elections to help play a part in the next move.
We're so mad that right now I'm willing to put the work in to see the policymakers that are going to vote for things and create policies that I believe in.
Other calls to action involve donating to abortion funds too.
They all need our money. It's not okay. It's not enough to just be here and to sit at home and feel hopeless when you have the money and the resources to give back.
A community effort to address a human rights decision.
But it is not the end. We will continue to fight for a better future with personal freedoms and bodily autonomy, not just for pregnant people, but for everyone.
Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
And right now we are continuing our team coverage here on this topic. Of course, today's high court move did not happen overnight. It was decades in the making. So many are wondering, how exactly did we get here? WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker joining us now with that piece of the story. And so, Austin, there is an extensive history behind today's ruling.
Yeah, experts have told me all day today, of course, this is a landmark decision, but it's not bombshell either, meaning people knew it was coming. But to understand how we got here, we have to go back and explain what happened almost 50 years ago at the start.
Pre-Roe, it was the state's decision.
Moving to March 1970, attorneys filing a lawsuit in U.S. federal court on behalf of a Texas resident who wanted to terminate her pregnancy. The case, Roe versus Wade, arguing Texas's abortion statutes were unconstitutional. Following the decision, years later, an all-male court found abortion a federal right, moving away from laws made state by state.
Roe versus Wade itself, right, when it was decided in 1973, started a pretty dramatic battle.
John Schmier, a professor of political science at UNC Charlotte, says historically it's been split on the decision.
It became intertwined with the debate over the Equal Rights Amendment.
Through the years, changes to the law. 1976, the Hyde Amendment passing, prohibiting government funds to be spent on abortions except for cases of rape, incest, or threat of life to the mother. In the 90s, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, the outcome setting the line of pre-viability.
Casey changed the rationale behind the right to abortion. it was a little bit murky in Roe versus Wade.
Ultimately, giving a little more power to the mother carrying the pregnancy.
In the 2000s, we start to see cases, that are centered on things like late term or so-called partial birth abortions.
At the time, a push from legislators to give time frame on when someone can get an abortion and under what circumstances. November 2003. President George W. Bush signing the partial birth abortion ban, prohibiting doctors from performing late-term abortions, more restrictions, but no prohibition.
Give the states a little bit more leeway to restrict abortion.
September 2021, Texas enacts the heartbeat bill, the first time a state successfully imposes a 6-week abortion ban since Roe v. Wade.
It is not a bombshell.
Susan Roberts, professor of political science at Davidson College, says the bombshell comes a little less than 2 months ago. The Supreme Court releasing a draft opinion with the potential of overturning the landmark court case.
The leaked draft said that abortion was a profound moral question.
And though almost 50 years.
And then, it's like, boom, now states can do whatever they want.
We're back to the 1960s.
Yeah, a lot of history right there, but both say they understand how we got here, which raises the question of what this means for the future and how each state decides. Vanessa?
Austin, thank you. And yes, so on that note, we wanted to show you this. 26 states, as you can see here, are certain or likely to ban abortion. This is according to the Guttmacher Institute. That's a nonprofit researching reproductive rights worldwide. And of these states, 13 have so-called trigger laws. Those are designed to ban all or nearly all abortions immediately after a ruling like we saw today. Now, neither of the Carolinas have these trigger laws, but we know some state lawmakers in North Carolina are trying to eye abortion restrictions in the coming months. Speaker of the North Carolina House, Tim Moore, tweeting today, abortion restrictions will be a top priority for the legislature when regular session returns in January. Meantime, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says he would veto any such bill. Across state lines, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster announced that he's already filing motions to get the state's Fetal Heartbeat Act in effect. Now, this measure would restrict abortions after a heartbeat is detected, which usually happens around 6 weeks. Exceptions would include cases of rape, incest, or severe health risk. And you'll recall that this became law last year, but it was put on hold because of a Planned Parenthood lawsuit. For now, though, abortion is legal in South Carolina for up to 20 weeks of pregnancy.
The first thing I see from a pro-life standpoint is the heartbeat bill should become the law of South Carolina. It is the law of South Carolina, but it's been blocked by the courts, so I think it'll be freed up.
Opponents of the measure say that 6 weeks is not long enough for many women to realize that they are pregnant. Today's decision also getting reaction on the international stage. The head of the World Health Organization tweeting that he is concerned and disappointed about the Supreme Court decision. He went on to say that it could have women and girls going to unsafe and possibly deadly procedures. Many wondering whether this ruling might bring other rights into the crosshairs too. LGBTQ group Equality NC says that it is worried with one particular line in Justice Clarence Thomas's solo opinion. And in it, essentially, he calls on his Supreme Court colleagues to also consider taking a second look at access to contraceptives and at same-sex marriage.
I mean, it's absolutely despicable. We cannot be a country that talks about freedom and justice for all without having the right to love who we love and the right to marry and the right to have personal bodily autonomy.
So you can see, of course, this issue is far from over. We will be following this story in the days and weeks to come, and you can always keep up with the latest through the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. In addition to tonight's on-air coverage, we'll have a breakdown there inside the app of what you need to know when it comes to abortion laws in both Carolinas.